Yeah, it was, who knows that training and development can be so much fun? I mean, I want to talk to you about development, but it's just interesting to get people to say, well, the younger people have fun, and certainly have fun in my development. And interesting, I'm going to follow on a little bit from what we've said before, because some people talked about choices earlier on. I thought that was really interesting. We talked about knowledge, and we talked about learning. And I thought, actually, that's what I'm going to talk about, actually, because it's all about the people, your choices, and all the rest of it. I'll come to that in a minute. But again, it's all about the future. So, why should you be professionally registered? Why should you? These people are all very happy here getting their certificates, and our presidents down here will have shook hands with them all. But, why should you encourage others, and why should we be it? Because I think the government wants us to be. Engineering Council, they're the ones that are in charge of all this. They want professional engineers in the railway. The railway needs to demonstrate to the rest of the world how professional it is. And this is all that could be for you. There are quite a few people in this room, and I think particularly, these are the sort of things that, and again, the third one, it gives you choices. Hang on, sorry. So what is professional registration? Let's get it absolutely clear what we mean by it before I carry on with the new route I'm going to talk to you about. It is basically, it's your academic plus experience, but it's just you must have that competence and you must have that commitment. And it's this commitment that comes from a passion as well for working within the railway. And a lot of us worked in the railway. It's a family place to be. We like working with other people, so we can get that commitment, but it's more importantly about the competency. So just to remind you of the levels, you're probably all fully aware of all these levels. Eng Tech, iEng and CEng. But the most important thing, it's open to everybody who can demonstrate what I've just said. So if you've got experience, the most important thing about professional registration is one thing, and that's experience and getting the right experience. That makes us different from other countries in the world. You can have a degree and do this. In the UK, we have to have that experience. So why? What's it going to do for us? What's the future going to say? Quite a few things up behind me there about, what are the challenges? We've talked about those challenges. And how can professional registration help you with that? Why do we need people? Because we need people to tackle these challenges that we've got there. And they're all listed. Some of them are budgetary, financial. Some are societal. Some are to do with the weather. Some are to do with the future of the railways and how we get more electrification, which we're very, very keen on. In the PWI. So I just want to put that in the context of why we're here, why I enjoy this job and why I enjoy seeing people from the graduate end right through to those people who may be towards the end of their careers. But, professional registration is joining together and being part of a community. So, basically, how do you get professionally registered? Well, there's only really two ways. You're either standard route and you've already got a degree, a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, or you do what's called the individual route. And I'm very pleased to say that within the PWI, we've developed this new route called Experiential Learning. The technical report route has been there for quite a long while. And the technical report route is the older individual route, which sort of said, right, you started from scratch, you haven't got the qualifications, you've got to write these long technical reports, and it did put people off. So what it is, experiential learning it's basically a streamlined route to get you, because you've already got some academic qualifications, you've already got some training, you've got some development. So let's make it easy, because let's relate it to your own particular job. So, and a lot of people are working now at a much higher level than their professional qualifications are. A lot of people are working at chartered engineers level. Probably a lot of people in this room are. Certainly a lot of you are incorporated. And if you know anything, then think about what I've been talking about earlier on, is what are the benefits of it, because it's all about improving the way you tackle your job and the way you sort of contribute to everything else. So, it's basically experience, but the most important thing, and I think this has come out of some of the presentations so far today, it's reflection. of what has been learned. We've talked about some lessons learned. We reflect on those, but then we go and find out more. So we then we do extra training, we do research, we go to universities, we get support. It's reflecting on what we've learned and making it better. We're certainly reflecting on electrification, aren't we? So we're reflecting on what was good and what was not so good. And certainly track renewals, where I talk about that quite a lot on our training courses. So who's eligible? Who can be on this new route? Well, if you've got a bachelor degree but never gone towards chartership, well, this is the route for you. You've got an accredited bachelor degree in civil, mechanical, whatever it is, and then you can move up. But the new route for a lot of people is when they've got an HNC and they can do the experiential learning to incorporated engineer. So basically, what I'm trying to sort of say to you is that it's open to everybody and it's an individual choice, and that's the way I see it. But just to put it into context, is what do we mean? What's the difference between an incorporated engineer and a chartered engineer? Well, the chartered engineer, we've talked about complex problems, and the Engineering Council really say that you've got complex problems, you've got broadly defined, and the incorporated engineer moves up to become the chartered engineer. And it's a progressive process. Now, there are other institutions doing this, but I think the way the PWI has done it, it reflects the sort of people who work in our industry. So just to tell you how you do it, how you apply, it's an application form. It's basically an extended CV. I trained 30-odd people in London last week to do these assessments, and it's basically saying, well, look, what have you done? What have you done in your career today? So that CV is really important. And obviously, as anything to a registration, we talk about CPD and getting somebody as a sponsor. But the actual application is 4 sections. So you write about your experiences in the 4 sections that we require under experiential learning and a reflective statement. Okay, and just to give you those, these are what we call learning outcomes. I talked about learning at the beginning. This is what you need to demonstrate to move your way through professional registration on these routes. So the iEng and the CEng, you've got the science and maths, the engineering. You must get into reflection of the real engineering. Talked about that a lot today. Then about design, innovation, health and safety and commercial. You can see that there. But the modern professional engineer is very, very focused on his management and his leadership and his communications, especially with non-technical audiences, persuading governments, persuading operators, persuading other engineers. We've got to do it. Very key feature. And obviously the last one there, where the engineer fits in society. So you can see it's very relevant to today's working. So the reflective statement is really just how did you get there? Did you go on a course? Did you mentor? Did you go and work with somebody else? How did you move up and get that extra knowledge that you probably had to find out and do? Okay. But I mean, I think it's great that the Engineering Council supports this. We have actually changed, believe it or not, the Engineering Council. They didn't think there was a place for us, but we are there. We've got well over 300 new professional registrants in the railway industry. We've done that in the last few years. We've even changed Engineering Council's spec on safety. Their spec on safety used to say, deliver safe systems of work. Engineering Council now say, deliver and improve. So we, as the PWI at the moment, we've been able to influence Engineering Council. So I'm delighted by the way that we can do it. And this experiential learning means that a lot of people, perhaps in this room, can go off and do this. So just in summary, I want to finish off quickly. This route is ideal for many railway people. It suits the railway because it's the sort of people who've moved on, they've changed, they've done jobs, but they've never really got that recognition. A lot have got some qualifications, so we're trying to promote that. And this is where it's totally focused on experience. So the comments I made right at the beginning and the comment that was made, it gives you life choices. You may not want to do track renewals all your life. You may want to move into another area. Once you get that professional registration, you've got a life choice to make decisions later on. And that's the way I see it as a personal view. So I hope that's been helpful. Please contact us if you've got any sort of further queries on this. You can talk to me in the break or talk to anybody else from the PWI. But really think about it, because it's all about the passion and delivering that passion for railways, which we've seen so far today. Thank you.